Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. Hold on, are y'all still here? I appreciate you for still being here, tapped in with me. This is season 2 of Breakfast with Tiffini. Yeah, we here, y'all. We here. I'm here. I'm grateful. This season, I'm taking a deeper dive into what it really means to be present, not just in theory, but in practice. How I'm showing up, where I am, and who I am while I'm here. Right now, life feels slow. And not like in a bad way. Like it's like a calm way. Like it's cool. It's just a little, life is slowed down a bit. And it really feels like a quiet sunrise. You know what I mean? Like something's happening, but like in a slow, peaceful, calm way. You know what I mean? Yeah. And for the first time in a long time, I'm not rushing to get somewhere else. I'm not chasing the next thing. I'm not trying to skip ahead to the next chapter. Like, I'm really present in this thing. I'm here. Like, I'm literally just here, taking things one day at a time. Lately, I've been in a very, introspective space. Yeah, I've been really going inward, taking inventory, evaluating, and honestly just noticing my life instead of trying to control it. And what I'm noticing is that where I am now definitely feels different. It looks different. It's just different. It carries a kind of stillness I'm still learning how to trust. Not because everything is perfect, but because I'm no longer abandoning myself in the process of becoming. I'm learning how to... Ooh, where's my tea? Hold on, let me get a little sip. I'm learning how to sit in my life and actually see it for what it is without rushing to change it or escape it. Just being present enough to say, this is where I am. This is where I am. This is what it is. And maybe the most honest thing I can say right now is I'm finally here. Like I'm finally in a space where I can do just that. Be present. And no, things aren't all the way figured out. I'm not necessarily at the finish line, not in some perfect version of my life, but I'm just here. That's the best way that I could describe it. And being here has a certain feeling to it that I'm still learning how to describe, right? It feels quieter in my mind. Not empty, but just like less loud, you know? There's not as much mental noise pulling me in 100 different directions at once. I'm not constantly rehearsing conversations in my head or overthinking every possible outcome. I'm not living 3 steps ahead of myself like I used to. I'm actually in the moment I'm in. Some days that feels peaceful, and some days it feels unfamiliar. But either way, it feels real. I've noticed I move differently now too. Slower, more intentional, less reactive. Like when after I shower, I realized how quickly I would dry myself off and slap that coconut oil on me. And it's like, girl, slow, what you what you rushing for? Like literally slow it down. And so just things like that that I've changed, that I realized, that I made myself aware of. Like, why are we rushing to dry off, oil up, and you know what I mean? Like, slow down. Actually, put the oil on. It's slow, take your time with it. And even my decisions don't feel as rushed anymore. Like, I'm not making choices just to relieve pressure or satisfy urgency. I'm learning how to pause long enough to ask myself if something actually aligns with me before I say yes to it. And that alone has changed a lot. Because when you start rushing, you start noticing things you used to overlook. You start noticing how you feel in certain spaces, how you feel around certain people, how you feel when you're alone with yourself. And I think that's what this season has been teaching me the most. How to notice my life without trying to escape it. Once I started rushing through my life, that sense of urgency started to settle. I used to feel like I had to be somewhere by a certain age. Like life was on a timer I could hear ticking in the back. Like I was always behind something I couldn't quite see. And slowly, that feeling started to like loosen its grip. I don't feel that way as much anymore. I feel way more grounded than I did previously. Less like I'm in a time machine trying to fast forward to the good part of my life, and more like I'm actually sitting inside it, finding meaning in every part of my life. And I ain't gonna lie, it's not always easy. Being present can feel uncomfortable when you're used to urgency, when you're used to constantly moving, when you're used to measuring life by what's next instead of what's here. But I had to stop and really ask myself, what exactly am I in a hurry to get to? And what am I missing while I'm rushing past my own life? It made me slow down enough to notice that I actually have influence here. Not over everything, but over how I move through this moment, how I treat this season, how I speak to myself inside of it. And I started asking different questions. How can I make this part of my life just as meaningful as whatever I thought was waiting for me ahead? What can I shift right now that helps me feel more secure in this space? What do I have the power to change today instead of waiting for some future version of me to handle it? And in asking those questions, I realized something simple but important. I don't have to abandon my life to improve it. It would be like I would step outside of the present to try to, configure something for the future or something. It is kind of weird to explain, but yeah, that's what I felt like I was doing. And I noticed it when me and my son would go on walks, and my goal with the walk is to get there, get back. When I have my kid, he's not walking. First of all, he's on a bike or a scooter, and he want to do donuts. He want to cross the street, zigzag, stop, pick up a flower, smell the flower, examine the grass, look at the dirt, look at the construction signs, read the stop signs. And I'm like, yo, can we just like hurry up and get there? So even in just those moments, like he's teaching me to like, yo, slow down, enjoy the process, like be present in that moment. In this season, I've noticed the stories I've been drawn to. I've been paying attention to the books I pick up, the conversations I have, and even the shows I find myself watching. Lately, I've watched Unchosen? Yeah, Unchosen. It's on Netflix. Then I watched Unorthodox. That's on Netflix too. And now I'm watching The Handmaid's Tale. And on the surface, like all of those shows are different stories, right? But what I've realized is that they all share something in common. They're stories about women finding their way back to themselves. Women questioning systems, expectations, beliefs, and identities that once shaped their entire lives. Women asking themselves, what do I actually believe? What do I actually want? Who am I outside of what I've been taught to be? And I found myself deeply connected to that theme. Not because my life mirrors theirs in any way, but because I understand what it means to begin questioning things that you've accepted as truth for a very long time. And watching those stories made me think about my own psychological liberation. The ways I've been untangling expectations, the ways I've been examining beliefs that I inherited rather than consciously chose, the ways I've been learning to separate my authentic voice from all the noise around it. And I think that's part of where I am right now. Not running away from my life, not reinventing myself necessarily, but continuing to free myself, to free my voice, continuing to ask questions, continuing to become more conscious about how I choose to live. And in this season, I've also noticed that I'm truly taking my time, reclaiming my time. And that alone feels like a form of healing. I am very intentional and protective about my energy now and what I allow to influence it. Because social media will really have your head messed up. Like, for real. And I'm sipping my tea. My bad, y'all. I've also noticed that I'm calmer. Not that I was like, just teed up all the time. But yeah, just a lot more calmer. And not because life has stopped lifing, but because I've learned how to regulate myself through it. I can actually calm my nervous system in real time using tools I've learned, practiced, and developed. Because we know it definitely takes practice. It ain't happen overnight. It most definitely did not happen overnight. It's something I've had to build slowly, intentionally, and consistently. I'm also intentionally learning new skills in this season, especially communication. Like, that's something I've really been intentional about working on. Because I'm realizing that it's not just about what I feel, it's about how I express how I feel. And podcasting is helping with that. Like, yeah, so much. It's giving me space to practice expressing myself honestly, but also learning how to communicate differences when I'm in conversation with other people. Right? Instead of shying away from a disagreement, learning how not to avoid hard conversations, and also not shutting down, learning how to stay present in those moments too. And you know what else I've noticed this season? That I'm still learning that I may or may not be as ready to date as I think I am. There's a part of me that feels more grounded now, more clear, more intentional. And I do believe I've learned how to choose differently than I used to. But there's also another layer to that. As a single mother, there's a level of awareness I carry now that I didn't carry before. A responsibility that sits with me in a different way. There's a real fear I have about introducing the wrong person into my son's life. Because this isn't just about me anymore. It's about energy, environment, influence. And while I do trust that I am more equipped now to recognize healthier connections, I also acknowledge that there's still some apprehensiveness there. Keep it 100. Yeah. And not because I don't trust myself, but because I respect the weight of that decision. So I'm learning to move slower in that area, to observe more than I speak, to sit with things longer than I used to, and to allow myself the grace of not rushing clarity where impact is involved. So when I look at where I am right now, it's quiet, but it's not empty. It's a life I'm learning how to actually be present in instead of constantly trying to move through it. Like, just that constant, like, I gotta do this, that, move, get it, groove, like, I'm noticing that I don't need to have everything figured out in this moment. to be okay in this moment. Like, it's cool. I'm cool. We gonna chill. I can be in process and still be at peace. I can be growing and still be grounded. I can be uncertain in some areas and still feel clear in others. And that feels like a new kind of maturity for me. Where I am now is teaching me how to trust myself in real time. Not the future version of me. Not the version that has everything perfected and figured out. But the version of me that is here today, making decisions, learning, adjusting, and paying attention. And I think that's what this season is really about for me. Not rushing, not forcing, not abandoning myself in the name of becoming something ahead of time. Like, really just, learning to be here. Because this moment is my life too. And I don't want to miss it while I'm waiting for the next thing. So this is the morning view. And I'm finally learning how to sit in it and enjoy it.